Any list of the legends of American business would have to include the name Ted Turner. Bold and frequently controversial, Turner was very much a disruptor in his prime. But time and age have put him in a reflective mood, as senior contributor Ted Koppel found when he visited Turner at his Montana ranch.
You ever ride your whole property here?
No, but I've ridden quite a bit of it.
You need a wide lens on your camera to capture the many sides of Ted Turner, especially out here on his sprawling 113,000-acre ranch outside Bozeman, Montana. You've always been a bit of a dreamer, haven't you?
Well, a lot of my dreams have come true.
Yes, they have.
Hey, Taylor, what did we were 15 3/8 yesterday?
60 Minutes has been covering the fulfillment of those dreams for almost 40 years.
He's just convinced he can do almost anything he sets out to do. And so far, he's been right.
Get the bullpen ready, Dodgers!
When Harry Reasoner made that observation, Ted Turner had not yet created CNN, but he had bought the Atlanta Braves and the Atlanta Hawks. And by transmitting all those baseball and basketball games via satellite to cable stations around the country, Turner transformed his not very successful local Atlanta TV station
Super Family Entertainment comes your way on Atlanta's WTBS
into his own creation, which he dubbed a super station.
Programming, you know we've got the best of any independent station.
Around the same time, Turner, a man of many parts, had already skippered the yacht Courageous to a 4-0 sweep of Australia in the America's Cup, arguably the world's most prestigious yachting race.
I'm a lot of different people. If you don't know that by now, I'm a multifaceted person. I've got a lot of different personalities.
I don't believe it.
You ought to see me at midnight on the full moon.
By the time Diane Sawyer got to Turner in 1986, CNN was well up and running.
We intend to cover all the news all the time.
And Ted had his sights on acquiring CBS.
What happened to the man who said that CBS was a cheap whorehouse taken over by sleaze artists?
I said that years ago. I was more of a crusader then than I am now, but I really felt that way at the time.
Ted Turner was a loud practitioner of political incorrectness years before Donald Trump rode that pony into the White House.
Italians. Imagine the Italians at war. I mean, what a joke. They didn't belong in the last war. They were sorry they were in it. They were glad to get out of it. You know, they'd rather be involved in crime and just making some wine and having a good time. You know.
They called him the Mouse from the South, Captain Outrageous. But when Turner sat down with Mike Wallace in 2003, CNN was already an international powerhouse, and Ted Turner had begun putting his money where his mouth had been.
I got a letter saying that I was going to be honored by the United Nations Association as their Man of the Year. And I thought, well, what am I going to say? Because I had to make a little speech.
And since money talks,
give a lot of money. I said, how much are you going to give them? I said, well, you got to, you know, it's got to be in the newspapers. It's got to be a big figure. How about a billion? You know, I mean.
And he did. Turner fulfilled his pledge of $1 billion to the United Nations. He also contributed somewhere north of $250 million toward limiting the spread of nuclear weapons out of the former Soviet Union.
Oh, Mamma Mia! That's a real nice fish.
As Morley Safer discovered in 2008, though, Turner sometimes got his numbers a little confused, as in this conversation about the disastrous merger between Time Warner CNN and AOL.
You were losing nearly $10 million a day for 2.5 years.
$1 million a day.
$1 million a day for 2.5 years?
Wait a minute, that'd be 700 million. No, you're right, 10 million a day. I get thousands, millions, and billions mixed up.
The confusion, The episodes of outrageous behavior, the euphoric highs and dark lows, were initially diagnosed as symptoms of manic depression. Turner says that was a misdiagnosis, but he openly acknowledges having a progressive brain disorder called Lewy body dementia. Can you tell us what that is?
It's a mild case of what people have as Alzheimer's. It's similar to that, but not nearly as bad. Alzheimer's is fatal. Thank goodness that I don't have that. But I also got I can't remember the name of it.
That's all right. Tell me what the...
It's dementia. I can't remember what my disease is.
It's an unpleasant thing to remember. So,
You bet.
Yeah. So just tell me what the symptoms are. I mean, one of the symptoms we're seeing right now. You can't remember what it was you wanted to tell me, but frankly, Ted, at our age, you know, not being able to remember things
is pretty common.
Is pretty common.
I know. I know that.
But it's more extreme with you?
Tired, exhausted. That's main symptoms, and forgetfulness.
Lift 6, down and hold.
Ted Turner begins most mornings these days with some yoga. He has never been a quitter. His willingness to be shown on network television in what is certainly a diminished state is a testament to courage and a surprising absence of vanity. What do you think?
Looks pretty good.
Turner has been, and remains to this day, a passionate environmentalist.
Oh, give me land, lots of land under starry skies above. Don't fence me in.
I'm not buying any more land. I've got enough.
Yes. Over the years, Turner has acquired roughly 2 million acres of land, most but not all of it in the United States, much of it devoted to restoring the American bison. Once, there were literally tens of millions of bison in the American West. By the early 1900s, they'd been slaughtered almost to the point of extinction. Only a few hundred left. So how many bison do we have now in the United States, roughly?
I think it's about 300,000.
Really?
And there's 200,000 in Canada, so there's about 500,000.
So you saved the bison race.
Well, I don't know. We did it together.
Turner has a national chain of 45 restaurants under the name Ted's Montana Grill. They serve bison.
If we make money raising bison, and we make more money raising bison than we do raising cattle on the same amount of acreage, then the bison will be protected.
Turner has more than 50,000 bison grazing on his various ranches.
Oh!
Early one evening, we drove to a remote section of the ranch in the hope of seeing, or at least hearing, some wolves.
Hit or miss.
It's hit or miss. It's a patient man's game. Right now, we're a couple of old geezers looking into the sun. We can't see a damn thing. We were just killing time, chewing the fat. I wondered if Turner had ever considered politics. What about you? Were you ever tempted to get into the ring?
Not really. A little bit. Closest I came to running for office was when I was married to Jane Fonda. And when I discussed it with her, she was married to one politician.
Tom Hayden. Right?
Yeah, and she said, you know, if you run for office, you run alone.
Were you thinking about going for the brass ring, for the big job?
I didn't think very much about it, but I didn't see any point in doing anything else but that.
So you were thinking about the White House?
Sure.
Drive and ambition were qualities his father instilled in Ted Turner. I think your father may have had the greatest impact on your life. Would you agree with that, of any individual?
Of any individual, probably.
Yeah. And he took his own life at a young age.
53.
Yeah, well, that's young. You told me yesterday that he'd left you a note. Do you mind telling me what was in the note?
Well, he just said he was sorry that he felt like he was in over his head, but he wasn't. He just apologized. Sad. I loved him very much, and he was a hero of mine.
As you get older now, as you go into the last few chapters of your life, do you ever think about suicide?
No. I've got 5 children and 14 grandchildren, and I wouldn't put them through that. That was painful. It was painful for me, I know, when my father did it. And I'm not going to even think about doing anything like that for my children and grandchildren.
Even as he struggles with the symptoms of Lewy body dementia, Ted Turner continues to engage great challenges, threats to the environment, nuclear war, echoes perhaps of a poem he memorized as a classics major at Brown University, recalling an ancient hero confronting insurmountable odds.
Then stepped forward Horatius, the captain of the gate. He said, "To every man of woman born, death cometh soon or late. And how can man die better than facing fearful odds for the ashes of his fathers and the temples of his gods? Hew down the bridge, Sir Counsel, with all the speed ye may. I, with but 2 beside me, will hold the foe in play. On yon narrow span 1,000 might well be stopped by 3. Now who will stand on either hand and guard the bridge with me?" That was Horatius at the bridge.
And that, on the eve of his 80th birthday, is Ted Turner.